Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4?
Yeah, it's got to be 2014, maybe? I know that the Harry Potter films are finished. Because I'd seen them in a movie as recently as maybe 2016, maybe early 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was probably the...
Because they did the part 1, part 2 of the last.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was in a good movie called Eye in the Sky with Helen Mirren. And that was, I think, 2016 that film came out. 2016 he died, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or January 2016. So almost 3 years now.
R.I.P.
Good actor. Good actor. What else you want to talk about? I got so many notes.
What do you want to talk about, man?
Oh, God. Well, I told you that, like, who it was offered to, because it got offered to so many people. They got Bruce Willis to do it. He was on Moonlighting at the time with Sybil Shepherd. I think that was maybe 2 seasons deep by the time that Die Hard came around. And couldn't do it. He couldn't do Die Hard because of the show. But Sybil Shepherd was pregnant. So they had to shut down production for about 3 months. And that freed Bruce Willis up to do Die Hard, and that kind of launched his career. He had been in a couple of other films before that. But I don't think he was the main star. I think he was a supporting character. Maybe was the main star in like one comedy before that, but mainly a comedy guy. He didn't become an action guy, which you and I know him as.
Yeah.
More of an action guy. You can thank Die Hard for that because he was mainly a comedy before that. So let's see. We talked about the novel that it was roughly based on, and a lot of those iconic scenes are taken straight from the novel. A lot of those characters taken straight from the novel, like Ellis, Carl, the Gruber character. I think his name was like Tony Gruber or like little Anthony Gruber in the novel. But most of those characters are from the novel, and I think the Sergeant Powell character, I don't think was a sergeant. I think he was a rookie cop. He was a young cop, not an older cop like Reggie VelJohnson. Let's talk about Reginald VelJohnson, because I don't think he gets the love that he deserves, because he's really good in this movie too.
Yeah. And
I think that he's kind of the heart of the film. Did it again. Slide back so I don't keep hitting the mic with my pen. The listeners are wondering, what the hell is going on over there? It's his conversations with McClane on the radio that are kind of like the heart of this story.
Yeah.
The more tender moments, quieter moments are between them talking to each other on the radio, kind of getting each other through this ordeal.
He doesn't even make his appearance like probably around the halfway mark, right?
Yeah, it's well into the movie before he makes his appearance.
Yeah, because he's already McClane's already dirty and hurting.
It's not until he's had the gunfight on the roof and come down through the and it's not the elevator shaft, but like the air shaft comes down through the air shaft. And yeah, it's when he shoots up those 2 guys in the office, trying to get Powell's attention when he comes to check on the disturbance, and that's 45 minutes, an hour into the film maybe before he makes his appearance. And his introduction is pretty funny with him buying all the Twinkies. And the guy at the clerk in the convenience store just not buying the excuse that
giving him shit. Yeah.
They're for his wife.
And he's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, she's pregnant. He's also the father on Family Matters.
On Family Matters.
Which I love that show growing up.
Family Matters was a good show.
Yeah.
I don't think... Because that was spun off of Perfect Strangers, but I think it was his wife that was the character in Perfect Strangers. And that the spin-off happened for her.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he was... I don't think he was in it. But I don't think that he gets the recognition for this movie as as much as like Rickman does or Bruce Willis for kind of launching his career. But he's really good in it. He's really funny. There's some pretty heavier scenes between them, where he talks about why he's not on the street, and it started out as like a funny, almost a ribbing kind of conversation where McClane's making fun of him for being a desk jockey and why I see why you drive the car like that. I know why you're not on the street, and giving him that hard time, and then you kind of find out like why he wasn't on the street, and it was because he shot a young boy, and
he pulled his gun too quick. He thought the kid had a real weapon. It turned out to be a ray gun, and he killed him.
Yeah, so that's a very sad, very heartbreaking story. So you kind of know where he's coming from, and that's a big scene between the two of them. And then later on in the film, when McClane is really injured after the firefight with Carl and Gruber in the computer room or the IT room, wherever they are that had all the computers and the servers and everything, and he's really injured, and he has a very good conversation with Powell about find my wife and tell her all these things, and I never said I'm sorry. I told you I love you 100 times or whatever, but never actually said I'm sorry. Please tell her that. And you can tell that McClane's like really down at that point. Like he's been beaten and he's hurt and he's injured, and the odds are kind of against him.
Kind of giving up hope at that point.
Yeah,
he's just had the firefight with the he got glass in his feet, and he can barely walk, so he's kind of like, hey, I need you to pass along this message for me because I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, and that's those two scenes are so good. I know that the two of them did not actually meet until their characters meet on screen, but being on the radio with each other all throughout the film, I looked everywhere to try to find the trivia, man. I looked everywhere to kind of see if, like, when Bruce Willis shot those scenes, if he had Reginald VelJohnson like on the other end of that radio, or did they just record their lines separately? Mm-hmm. But to me, it seems that they were talking to each other the entire time while they were filming, because they got into those moments where you could tell that they really needed each other to lean on. Mm-hmm. And also there's a ton of like really great quips and lines between them, especially when Deputy Chief Robinson gets involved, and you can tell how much each of them hate him.
That guy's typecast. For sure. The
Deputy Chief Dwayne Robinson. That's Paul Gleason. He's in The Breakfast Club. That's probably his most famous role. He's the principal in The Breakfast Club. What was he was in like another big movie. Oh, Trading Places. Mm-hmm. He's another asshole in Trading Places. So you're right.
I just think he was just like that smart ass. Don't fuck with me. Go to.
That was the shtick, and he's dead unfortunately too now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
Let me look that up really quick. It's been a while. Mm-hmm. It's been a while, but a lot of people, like I said, they know him from Breakfast Club, Die Hard, and if you've seen Trading Places, 2006. So okay. He's been gone about 12 years now, which is unfortunate. But he's had those pretty iconic roles too, and I think he even reprised that role from The Breakfast Club in Not Another Teen Movie. I think he plays the asshole principal in that too, as a nod, obviously, to the Breakfast Club. But so he gets. We'll get into that when we get to the plot. We should really talk about the plot instead of me bouncing like a pinball all over the place with like all kinds of just like great stories and trivia from the film, because I love this movie so much.
Well, I felt Die Hard is so beloved that we could get away with just doing the episode with that too.
We can do that too. Yeah. If you haven't watched this movie, what's wrong with you? Because this is one of the all-time greats. And if you haven't, go watch it right now.
I don't know, man. I've known a few people who haven't. They just don't watch movies. Apparently, like somebody that I worked with hadn't seen The Matrix.
Really, and that's a big movie. That's an iconic movie.
Yeah, that's something that you should at least caught on cable.
Yeah,
once in your life, sometime.
Well, I know that Die Hard is in pretty regular rotation. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit. Some of the cable channels, I know either HBO or Cinemax has played it on Christmas Eve before. Mm-hmm. I think even last Christmas Eve they played the real Die Hard trilogy on Cinemax or HBO, whatever it was, on Christmas Eve, and I watched all three of them. Why not? So it's been played a lot. It's very, very famous, and you know, maybe some people have caught it, maybe some people didn't. I'm sure that there's movies that I haven't seen that are, you know, well known that I should have seen.
That's true. Sometimes you surprise me, man. But
a movie eludes me. But then again, like, this is an action movie from the 80s. I've seen it. I grew up watching it, like RoboCop or The Terminator or something. So I know it very, very well.
Yeah.
But so let's, because we just mentioned it, let's talk about the sequels.
Okay.
And this is going to lead into the news that I had. Die Hard, perfect action movie. I don't think that there's a bad beat in that movie whatsoever.
So it's a hard 10 for
That's
you?
a hard 10.
Okay.
Especially when so many other movies copy that formula. And I know that Die Hard was based on the novel, and the formula is from the novel. I get that, but there wouldn't be a Passenger 57 or an Under Siege, or what's the other one that I was thinking of the other day? That's like another Sudden Death with Van Damme when they're in like the hockey rink. That's another Die Hard ripoff. That Passenger 57 is probably the strongest one. Mm-hmm. Maybe Under Siege. Under Siege is a pretty good movie. But they're not as good as Die Hard. They were copied, but they're not as good as Die Hard. The villain's not as interesting, or there's not as many good, like, quotable one-liners, and Bruce Willis is full of them in this film.
Well, I guess, yeah. You're saying he came from a comedy background. You can kind of tell because he has that quirky personality where he really fits that mold of, he could, survive this, mm-hmm. but he also doesn't really want to be there.
Yeah.
If you get my drift, he's like, oh, and now I have to deal with this stupid shit. Where he's just complaining the whole time.
And I think that a lot of that was like in Moonlighting too, where he was like the smart ass. Moonlighting had like real fast, almost like screwball comedy dialogue. Mm-hmm. And I think that really comes through here. Like you said, you can tell he's got that attitude.
What do you like? For the name escapes me, but that comedy, that kind of dark film he did with was it Angelica Houston?
Death Becomes Her?
Yeah.
With Meryl Streep. Mm-hmm. You're talking the Zemeckis movie, right?
Yeah.
Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like that movie. It's been forever since I've seen it. But yeah, I remember when that came out, and that was like a pretty big movie. I'm not sure how well that did, but I would really love to go and watch that again. Because I remember seeing like the trailers for that and then seeing the movie, but I knew Bruce Willis as like the action guy, and it was kind of weird because